talking about waking up the God inside of you. I'm talking about when our people are put in situations of adversity, that's when we shine the best. Under pressure, that's when we turn into black diamonds. I'm only saying that to take you back to the Obama presidency. All of the things that were done that were never done. And then after the presidency came into, when that whole ritual ended, it was as if the computer or the program shifted for it to never be the same again. The same thing just took place with this Trump-Hillary thing. Once black people voted and played the game, okay, because it's a game, and it showed you that it was a game right after. If you were paying attention, they showed you it was a game before, because she had the dinner with the cardinal, right?
Right.
Maybe we could get online. We were online, right? Genesis, Sister Genesis. Are we online with this?
Is there Wi-Fi?
Yeah. All right. So maybe we could go online and just show some of these things that we're building on. This is just a warm-up for the program.
I think they'll take your word for it.
Yeah. So they were showing you that they had a dinner with the Archdiocese of New York. This is something that all of the presidential candidates do. Who?
It's an annual dinner.
It's an annual dinner where these supposedly enemies come and sit down to roast each other, making jokes on each other.
They do the same thing at the White House Correspondents' Dinner with the journalists and all of the pundits.
Yes, so the White House Correspondents' Dinner with all of the pundits. So you're familiar with Sinetta TV, correct? Everybody's familiar with the media platforms. You're familiar with Brother Rich's platform, UGR, Black Magic 363. Then we have our platform where we're journalists through KTL Know the Ledge. So we report on different individuals in our community from different standpoints. We do decoding, we report some kind of news from the ground, straight up, guerrilla journalism and things of that nature. Now, over the past few months, we've covered Lil Wayne, right? We've covered some of the things that he said that we consider to be cooning, or basically race trader. He was being a race trader because he wasn't on code, and he spoke out of context, and he admitted that he was speaking in ignorance, and he is an influencer, and he has the minds and the hearts of not only the youth. It's not a youth thing. It's Negroes in their 80s and 60s and 40s, they still following Lil Wayne. Because of the spell that he casted so successfully in the beginning of his career. Because it's not about falling off. He has tentacles. He has Lil Wayne, he has Drake, he has Nicki Minaj and other people who work through Young Thug is a spin-off or a clone of that energy or that frequency. You feel what I'm saying? To the point where he's perfected.
Lil Yachty,
everything spins off.
Lil Uzi Vert.
So it's almost like identifying the head of a snake.
They all Lil Wayne babies.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the scale of influence, he's looked at somebody who not only is he a trendsetter, but he has remarkable renown in regards to whatever his ideology is. If he's saying this is what we on now, and we off that, then they're gonna follow suit. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that matriculate in the back of the minds of these youth to be like, you know what? If Wayne ain't popping, if he ain't rocking with Black Lives Matter, why should I? because I want to be Lil Wayne. So this is the age of celebrity worship, whereas our parents might have just looked at athletes and, they dug their story and it was inspirational. Now we live in a generation where people actually idolize, we live in an American Idol society. And mind you, this is a Christian nation, quote unquote, supposedly, but we live in an American Idol society. It's okay, because this is what, media has deemed it as such. So it goes beyond what somebody probably, in our age group has experienced coming up. The youngers, people in the generation under ours and going all the way down, as well as, like he said, maybe even people from our generation and above, they have a tendency to be like, yo, if this is what's being said, this is what we're going to run with. Because unfortunately, our entertainers are our new leaders. That's what it is.
And some of our entertainers are fathers. Okay, I remember coming up saying, what would Jay-Z do? I get in situations, and my father is firmly in me and my brother's life. We were raised by our father. He's an English professor. You feel what I'm saying? So he was there as an influence, telling us what to do, what not to do, and I still find myself, what would Jay-Z do? Okay, so that's our big brother, that's our father figure, you know what I mean? That's the big homie, right? So imagine if we were to have a dinner with Lil Wayne was chilling with us, and we was hee-hawing with Lil Wayne, gagging, ha ha ha, smiling and beguiling, making jokes on Lil Wayne at the dinner, okay? Everybody that we've called out this year was there at the dinner to wrap up that year of journalism, to show the people who are watching it's all a game. We play golf together. This is my guy. So that's what you see in the White House Correspondents' Dinner when they all come together. They're like, this is theater. Okay? This is the greatest show on earth. This is the Celebrity Apprentice. And you've been playing the game. So your vote is, you're casting a vote of not only saying that I'm down with the system, but you're picking the two of the lesser evils. They left you in a position where you were stuck.
Or as my brother, what's his brother's name? Aton Edwards said, the evil of two lessers.
The evil of two lessers. Okay?
Or as I've been hearing people say, you pick it between diarrhea and constipation.
You know what I'm saying? So this is a very tricky era that we're entering into. It's a continuance of the energy that they've been cooking up. I mean, it just transitions so perfectly. Okay? What we have to remember, though, is fear. The creation of fear. All right? It does something to us as a people that takes away from the power that we initially had. So by show of hands, how many people were at the event last night? Okay. Did you have a second of feeling any kind of fear when you were at the event last night? Did that thought even permeate in your mind?
Nope.
Okay, there's a reason for that. The reason is because fear is false expectations appearing real. Nobody was up there programming you with the fear frequency. Nobody was up there that had fear in their voice or their DNA structure because it wasn't allowed inside of that structure, the energy or the frequency that was inside of that place. The energy is us. Okay? And all you got to do is house us and put us in certain kind of areas and you feed off of that energy. So that energy wasn't grandstanding, Homer stunting, like how some of our people out here do. They run around with these faces. They run around looking at you like they're going through something, right? There's some shit going on within, and the projection of that is onto you because you might remind them of something that they're going through. Or you may remind them of some kind of shortcomings that these people may be having in their lives. Or you may remind them of something that they don't have. Okay? Because we're talking about our people that have the mind state that they're the have-nots. As long as they're in that mind state, they're an enemy not only to you, but to themselves. These are the haves. You have to identify what a have-not is. A have-not to me, statistically, would be somebody who come out of a barren land, who didn't inherit all of the riches of the world. Meaning that you're not resource heavy in your land. You have experienced lack in your land. Hey, Genesis. He's good. You've experienced lack in your land. You feel what I'm saying? You don't come from a place where you can even conceive abundance in prosperity. Meaning I was talking to an African the other day, one of my brothers from the continent, who have been coming to us on 125th Street now more than ever, willing to talk. This is before the Trump presidency. This is based off of black media, or controlling what is known as new media. They call it new media because it trumps old media. Old media was, I control everything that you know. Right?
Indeed.
Old media is, you do not know about WikiLeaks. Because old media would not tell you about WikiLeaks. They would not reveal to you what WikiLeaks was leaking, because old media controlled information because they're owned by some of the people who are totally in cahoots with each other. Keep in mind, if Brother Rich, Brother Sarnetta, and Baba TV control the flow of media. If Brother Rich, Brother Sarnetta, and Baba TV controlled all of the entertainers, they had contractual agreements, they had interests, business interests in all of the people that they were reporting on. So they'll alert them. Look, I'm going to blow you up today. I'm going to make it hot. Peace, sis. How you doing? Greetings. I'm going to make it hot. I'm going to blow it up. You're going to go through your publicist. You're going to rebut that, right? Then we're going to go back and forth. Then you're going to announce the new product that you have. Or then you're going to announce a new movie that's coming out. This is a game that's being played. I'm only giving you these examples because, like I said, the brother Sarnetta, the brother Rich, and the brother Baba TV, imagine if they control the stream of consciousness, which they do. Which they do. As you can see, they'll decide who they put on camera. If the brother starts talking, they can cut him off. They can hang up the call. They can say, well, you know what I mean? They can bring on different pundits to tear down whatever the brother was saying, or to add on what the person was saying. That's your media. On 10,000. All right? This is the media with $1 billion budget. I'm just referring to a media that you're familiar with a shoestring budget. But these people can manipulate all kind of stories, all kind of narratives, and all kind of other things that is affecting the stream of our consciousness. So the power in new media is the fact that our brothers from the motherland are coming to 125th Street from off of 116th Street. That is known affectionately as Little Africa. In order to go into Africa and to create any kind of change, or to meet with any of the people that are worth meeting, it would be incumbent to come through 116th Street, right? Similar to if somebody were coming to America and they wanted to have court with Chef Aki, or they wanted to sit down with the brother Tahir RBG. If they brought somebody from the community, if someone from the community brought someone from the continent directly to us, we would sit down with them faster than if somebody just came knocking on doors like, yo, I'm from the continent, I'm just out here, you know, like shit is rough in Nigeria, I just want to come to see you guys. We'll be like, who sent you, right? So that is the importance of building relationships with our brothers on 116th Street, and they're coming to us now. So the brother came to me, he was like, it's so mineral rich in my country that we can throw a string into the stream and catch a fish and gut the fish, and there you have your diamonds inside. And then you can give the security guy $100 US, and he'll turn around and act like he never saw anything happen. And then, if you come to the continent, being you are who you say you are, because keep in mind, they deal with tribes. When you speak to an African, it's important that you know the tribe. Don't ask them if they're from Africa. Don't even ask them if they're from the country. They'll be like, I'm not Senegalese, I'm Wolof. That's what he told me. He was like, we don't describe ourselves by countries or nations. It's by tribes. And even sometimes it's by what, I'm Muslim. I'm a Muslim Wolof, or I'm Yoruba, or I'm Ifa. Or, you know what I mean? So he was explaining to us the importance of knowing who you are. They can look at our phenotype. They can look at your phenotype and be like, nah, he's not from the continent. So Negro, that was from here. But he doesn't know that. So it restricts what I can tell him. Because we have been told on the continent, at the visa office, and in our neighborhoods, that if you tell these African Americans the wrong things, they might want to fight. Because look, after all, they're walking around saying African American. They know that Africa is a continent. They know that America is a continent. So they're like, these people are kind of crazy. Right? Yo, where you from? I'm from Canada, Europe. All right. I'm going to restrict some of the things that I'm going to reveal to you because there seems to be some kind of discrepancy in your identity. Okay? So it's important for us to begin to get into the DNA testing. I don't know the right place to go. People say that DNA 123, or my father went through
Ancestry.com.
Yeah, my father went through Ancestry.com, found out that he has Benin, Congolese, and some other of the ancestors in his bloodline. And then we've had other people who tried other people, but I encourage you to cross-check. What is it going to hurt? They're running DNA tests on you anyway. Against your knowledge, they know who you are genetically from a genetic level. So if they target an individual from a genetic level, that's how deep they're taking their thing. They could drone you. They got bioengineered weaponry. You feel what I'm saying? Where some shit could go off in a room and only that person with the R plus or an A plus or A minus or O positive will be infected by whatever is taking place or whatever poison or whatever is going on. And this is not about fear mongering. This is only about identifying the times that we live in. Because if I were to talk to you as if we were in the 60s or in the 70s, I would be out of time and out of place, and I would be disingenuous to the information, because you got people disseminating a lot of information these days, okay? But it's analog, it's not digital. You dig what I'm saying? It's some old shit. It's something that a master teacher talked about. They got old VHS tapes that they're dusting off, taking segments and sound bites and expounding on that. And it's no disrespect to that, but you have to remember, we are in the now. And we can't on one left hand be from the east, and then every time on the right hand we're in the west. You all Eastern, with your Eastern philosophy on your left hand, yeah, the time is now. It's all about the now. You know, the secret, the law of attraction. And then on the right hand, you're like, yo, look at what these white people did to us. They're white supremacists. Just utilizing the word supremacy, you lost. What is supreme about somebody who I've identified? Because I was talking about the have-nots. So let's go ahead, because I identified somebody that comes from a barren land, that operates in lack, that operates in non-abundance. That would categorically be a European. Why do I say that? I only say that because when you measure the other continents and what they have, naturally, inalienable, what are you born with? What can you go outside and pick from the tree? What's in the stream of the water? What's inside of those caves or those mountains? It's all minerals. It's mineral rich. What are they eating and sucking off of right now? Mineral rich countries. How could you be from the Caribbean and be part of a third world? Why does that not make sense? Because the Caribbean is rich. Haiti is rich with gold and oil, right? That's what they found, copper, okay? Jamaica is rich. The Bahamas is rich. The Puerto Rico is the port of riches. Ecuador, Peru were some of the largest extractions, this is where some of the largest extractions of silver, gold, and other things. The sister was in Honduras. Did you see the mineral richness in that land?
Oh, absolutely. In the rivers.
In the rivers and everything, and they have their people living in perpetual poverty. You go to all of these different nations inside of the continent. Perpetual poverty. But these places, how is Nigeria in poverty and they're taking all of the oil from there?
They sell the best produce. And
They sell the best
and
produce.
they eat the junk.
The majority of these stones that me and my brother wear are from Brazil. Why are there shanty towns and favelas in Brazil and the majority of agate, amethyst? I'm talking about complete cities.
They have
That's the size of these mountains.
They have the second largest quartz deposit on the planet, next to Arkansas. A lot of people don't know Arkansas's quartz mineral contents, but they have the Meridian seed crystals. They got all type of miraculous things happening in Brazil, you know, on the mineral side of things. But yet it doesn't reflect on the population. You know, they have made deals with multinational corporations and other governments such as China, and they've come in and they've bought everything up. Right? So
Yeah. So, you know, the European, as a result of a genetic, this is not personal, all right? When we identify who is some of the biggest oppressors or some of the biggest, you know, we can speak in Trump talk now, okay? Because all of the cards are on the table. So now it's not hard to wake our people up and to explain to them the energy. Let's get out of personalities, because it's not real. Personalities are manipulated. You utilize media. You got egos. He's a Gemini. He's all kind of people, okay? You don't know who you're dealing. You don't know who he is. But let's talk about the cards that he puts on his table and he shows you. So corporate greed, all right? Corporate lust, okay? Uncontrollable, you know, not being centered. You know, he never really expressed religion. So you're void of religion. Then on the other side, they showed you with Hillary and Bill. Spirit, what is that called?
spirit painting.
Spirit painting. Okay, not to get into the spookism, all right? Because you're dealing with the people who in their expeditions, in their excavations, in their conquering, they found out that there are systems that they could have utilized, or they utilized these systems to enhance what it is that they've done. On the occult side, what is the occult? The occult is the hidden. Let me give you an example. How many people in the building know anyone that's in the Yoruba tradition? How many people know anybody that's in the Santeria tradition or the Palo Mayombe tradition? All right? These brothers and sisters who engage in African traditional systems do these systems or these practices and these ceremonies hidden. That's the occult. It's when the door closes. What do you do behind the doors? So, I'll be in Spanish Harlem. There's an old grandmother. It doesn't matter about the complexion. You got to get off the color. You got to get off the texture of the hair. All of that is void. There's an old grandmother. Looks like she's from European descent, Spaniard descent, wearing a rosary. You know what I mean? Straight Jesus loves you, giving you the everything, all of that. She goes home. After she comes from the botanical, she turns completely into an African. The minute the door closed, she's straight African. The music even comes on. The drums will start playing. The songs, she closes that, she pulls up some other shit. Alright? She goes into, she gets, the spirit might mount her, she's speaking different tongues. Occult. Right? Meaning that you don't know what they're doing. So you would be silly if you were to think that the European does not utilize some shit behind closed doors. We interview them. We show you that on YouTube. They're not religious. We be like, yo, you believe in Jesus? They're like, nah, who's that? Jesus who? They're not religious like that. You have your evangelicals and all of that other stuff, yeah. But the majority of them are into science. They into some other shit. They're into eugenics. They're into singularity. They trust their scientists. That's who have progressed them into this age of industrialism.
That's their priesthood.
That's their priesthood. Okay? In the priesthood, pharmacopoeia, the priesthood is utilizing wizardry. The priesthood is utilizing all of the things that the Juju man was doing. The priesthood is casting spells in Hollywood. The priesthood is cooking up the Molly, is cooking up the ecstasy, is cooking up the Oxycontin. Okay? That's the priesthood. So whereas we had the Juju man And they had a brother come on Sinetta TV and he broke it down. The first black church in America, the goddamn, it was a voodoo church. That's what he showed. That the first church in America, they were coming there to do the work. The brother was on a plantation similar to like a Sabi was. Okay? A griot. He was a healer. Okay? He helped with pregnancies, he helped with births, he helped with deaths, he helped with diseases, ailments, and all of these other things. He helped men get their power up. He could even put something in somebody's drink to help expire them in a faster manner. Alright? He could even help create a concoction for our sisters to even put inside of them to help kill the man who was raping them every other night. Alright? Or to make them limp or impotent. All of these things. This is what these men were doing. But how did they have to come in? With the Bible. Like a good Negro. You know what I'm saying? You know, yes sir, and agree to everything. But they had a mission, and it's been brought to our knowledge that some of the first brothers and sisters in the black church were very well steeped in the tradition. Okay? This is what they did. So we have to begin to recognize those of us that are in our community doing this work, tapping into this unseen power, tapping into our ancestral power, being able to rub the genie lamp and conjuring spirits in order to do some of the work that has to be done. Okay? Because Negroes, the way that it's looking like, if you're waiting on them to do some shit on the unclandestine scene, it's not gonna happen. Alright? One of the places where our people are willing to work right now is behind the scenes, on the unseen. Because they're not out there in public doing what needs to be done. They'll march until their shoes fall off. Okay? Because they like to sing, and they like to be around people, and they like Twitter, Instagram, the selfies. The hashtag is hot. Black Lives Matter. You know, you can pick up a queen like that. So they just get into the hashtags. But to actually do something, to create a change, is going to have to be done on multiple different realms, because we are being assaulted, we are being manipulated, we're being molested, alright? We are being, all kind of attacks are taking place on the realm of the unseen. And even the unseen in cyberspace. Okay? There's cyber wars taking place. I got a website that I can show you, and it has real-time attacks. And it looks like a continuing, it looks like a non-stop nuclear war. Or a non-stop, remember Shock and Awe, where they just showed you the lights going off and things blowing up? So on this map, I believe it's called a Norse map. N-O-R-S-E. You can pull it up online, a Norse map. On this map, it's just showing you all of these things taking place, all of these attacks. So China would get attacked, then Russia would get attacked, then they'll show a light coming from Russia and hit America. America would get attacked. So all of these cyber attacks are taking place. They're taking data, they're stealing information, they're hacking. The definition of hacking means to solve. It's not a negative term. We in our community are hackers. We're hacking right now. We're hacking the system. The system is built on putting out, at this current time, because like I said, it's all about the now. I'm not going to give a rundown of what has taken place over the years. If I do that, it's only to bring you up to date, to the now, because everything is connected. So there's some shit that was going on in 2012 that has affected what's going on right now in 2016. And that's really the only reason we should be going back in time, is to draw as to where we're at right now. I could talk about the Black Power Awards yesterday, but that even is part of history. That's not the now. Alright, I'm charged up because of the awards. You know, I feel that the level of ambiance that was displayed last night, we should never go back on that. That's why you see us in a place like, we ain't in no broken down warehouse. We not hiding. Okay, we have to present ambiance. We have to present this information in a setting that is indicative of the message. How the hell could we be in a place talking about kings, talking about a bright future, talking about where we come from, talking about that cloth talk, and we're inside of some place that's run down, this discount? You dig what I'm saying? It doesn't match. So for too long, we've been we've been doing ourselves a disservice. Because when people get together to get spells put on them, when people get together to get told that they're B's and H's and MFers and all of these other things, and all of these because words cast spells. And the people like a Lil Wayne, who we had to, pull his coat or lift his skirt, like a Jay-Z. You dig what I'm saying? Who was out there running around with Hillary Clinton, but didn't have the time or the audacity to address some of the policies that he was about to help usher in by campaigning for her. But hold on. There's 2 million of our brothers and sisters in jail. You one of the Pied Pipers, homeboy. She's part of the policy to help put them in jail. Her husband helped put forth a crime bill that helped create it washed up a lot of neighborhoods. It broke foundations by taking away a lot of good people out of their household who were on the wrong path. All right? We're not here to put death penalties on our people. But if I'm 30 years old and I get 60 years for selling some crack, I'm gone. It's a wrap. I'm not going to be productive.
I want to just brief it out. I speak on it often because I remember in real time, I had got myself into some trouble in 1994, and I was in Virginia, and I was prosecuted under what's called the old law. So in Virginia, they'll give you 20 years, serve a percentage of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just numbers. The numbers are scary, but you're not doing 20 years. You'll end up probably doing 5 years, and they'll knock 5 off, and then you got another 10 years on probation. It's crazy enough as it seems, but that's what they was doing. So the Bill Clinton came in, and because Virginia was a commonwealth, they said, let's try truth in sentencing out here, what they call zero tolerance. So in 95, what they enacted was called the new law, and then under the new law, they were still giving people 20 years for nonsense. But the difference is now you have to do 85%. So in 1995, when I got the little bit of time I did, I had to witness 18 and 19-year-olds coming into the system, got 35 years for 2 sales of crack cocaine, dime pieces. We're not talking weight. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
And we know, of course, the whole aspects of the moral implications of selling poison to your people, granted. But was that, you know what I'm saying, a justified sentence for an 18-year-old, 35 years for 2 sales of dime crack cocaine? These young men's lives were ruined. And the real problem is that they didn't know it. Because they was in there on joke time, playing cards, chasing each other around. They really thought it was a country club because at this point, hip-hop had glamorized prison life. And they thought that this was a badge of honor. Like, I got some years under my belt. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to where my uncles, my fathers, and my homies is at. That's what they were saying. They was almost excited to get into the spread. And I'm like, so if this was in 95, and this is 2016, and there has been no amendments to these particular sentences, just imagine. We can say 2 million particular black bodies behind jail, but are we looking at the sentence that those black bodies got behind jail? Those black bodies is rotting behind bars. Them black bodies got 20 plus years for charges that normally somebody would serve 5 to 10 years for. So, what was done to our people was crazy.
By a show of hands, how many people have seen the documentary 13 on Netflix? Okay. So if that didn't show you in such a clear language that the enslavement or the legalized enslavement of our brothers and sisters were perpetuated not only through presidential administrations, right? Not your congressman, not the senator, the presidents that were coming in, right, were being elected to do what? To enhance the anti-nigger machine. That's what their purpose was on a domestic level. Then on an international level, they had other kind of, dictates and things like that they had to uphold. But there cannot be any president who's ushered into power post-Black Power, post-Panthers, post the rise of our people in America, or the black brothers and sisters, or the black messianic energy in America, they had to be, all administrations had to have an aspect of nigger control in it. And they had to articulate that clearly. Remember the whole Willie Horton thing? They showed you. He was losing. And then he pulled the Willie Horton card.
Right. So you had the war on poverty, you had the war on crime, and you had the war on drugs. All of these were presidential dictates. You know what I'm saying? These administrations were all the ones who were the heads of these particular wars. And make no mistakes, these are just euphemisms for war on black people. You know? So now the war on terror is the new one. You know what I'm saying? And they're finished with their foreign aspect of that particular war. Now all they're talking about is the domestic aspect of it. And I'm not going to swoop nobody in the room, but I'm clear. I seen the reports. I see who they said the domestic terrorist was. They ain't talking about them boys outside of Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? The Ku Klux Klan and all of them surrounding Atlanta, they're not talking about them. Even though these were the people that are at the top of the list, threatening the lives of the president, trying all sorts of attempts on him. You never once saw them call them terrorists. You know, so let's be very clear, like we said, we are living in different times. And it's really a time to sober up, if nothing else. It's really a time to just be attentive. And we want to utilize the opportunity to bring a message that pulls our people together, rather than not through fear, but through love. You know what I mean? What other opportunity, what other perfect time than now? We live in a very undifferentiated place. Anything could be done. Trump is president. Like, there's no rules. All the rules are out the window. We live in a digital age now, so there are no rules in a digital age. You can do whatever and be whatever. So why not be great? You know what I'm saying? Why not put a track right alongside this Make America Great thing again? And why don't we just be great? You feel me? And see who reaches that particular pinnacle first.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So,
you know.
let's get into it.
So, what we walk away with after seeing the documentary 13 and seeing that these multinational corporations were in bed with prison complex industry, we would begin to ask ourselves, well, goddamn it, so why was it that all of the record labels were signing drug dealers? That's interesting. If there's a war on drugs,
What's a war on drugs?
and come to find out that it was a real war, and they said that they recorded real casualties, how is it that multi-billion-dollar corporations, not no rinky-dink, yo, I'm doing this shit from my basement, no, Universal, Sony, okay, they gave Cash Million $30 million in the beginning, when Master P was an independent. Now, I'm not promoting all of the music that Master P was putting out, but he was an independent, trumping the big boys, doing something that they hate to see us do, and that's distribute. But they signing niggas who talk about distributing drugs, okay? Who sign with them to distribute their albums. Now that should tell you something. So I'm taking penitentiary chances to distribute cocaine on the highway, but I don't have the smarts or the know-how to put my CDs in a truck and distribute it. I have to go to Sony for that. Because it comes to find out that that's all you needed the labels for. Later on down in life, when all of the smoke cleared, they're like, yeah, we really never needed the labels for anything but distribution. They get us in Target. Negro, you couldn't get yourself in a Target? You got past the border with the work, like according to all of your 80 mixtapes. How the hell couldn't you get into Target? Why did you need to sign? Why did you need to get $2 off of a $20 album to do that, family? That's what I want to know. So they started signing drug dealers in the middle of a war on drugs.
They got 20 cents.
Oh, my bad. 20 cents on a $20 album.
20 points.
Okay,
18
I
to
seen
19
some of the
points
checks.
was the most.
Yeah.
So they wasn't really, you never really know anybody got 20 cents off of an album. It's more like 16, 15, 18 cents off of an album. Alright? So in the midst of what they said was a categorical drug war that was ravishing this nation, you found mayors, presidents, and presidents for hopefuls posing with notorious audio dope boys. Okay? Even helping them run their campaigns like they are playing the people for fools. You understand?
This one I knew that it was a game. This one I knew that I'm like, yo, they're distracting us on levels, and they're spinning our people in ways that they have no idea. When Pusha T popped up with Thomas Kane, what's his name? Kane?
Tim Kaine.
Tim Kaine.
Tim Kaine, the governor of Virginia, the same governor of the Commonwealth that I'm telling you about, that they initially enacted the truth in sentencing, zero tolerance laws. And so all of Pusha T's homies, right, that was knee deep in the game, got swept up by these policies. But this young man is sitting here with the governor of his country, of his Commonwealth, of his state, saying, you've done a great job. And he's telling him, you've done a great job too. You understand? And I endorsed this man for the vice president. And he's like, look, man, when you get up there, you damn sure know you got tickets to the White House. We're going to keep this thing going. And that's what they're sitting up there telling you. You know what I'm saying? And these are, quote unquote, our people from our community.
Because there's a war on terror. And we're all familiar with that. Right? Some of us even waved our flags for that. Right? Mm-hmm. If you were to wake up tomorrow and you were to log on billboard.com signs, the hottest nigga in ISIS. I mean, he's been tearing up the charts in Tehran. He's that guy in Istanbul. You understand? He just tore down Damascus. You know what I'm saying? He's coming with his guys. You know what I mean? He has his
all
name.
Black everything.
All Black everything. His mixtape, Osama bin rapping, is hot on that piff. Now, if they signed them, if Universal signed them to 30 million, there would be protests outside of Universal, because you would say, how the hell in the time of the war on terror you were signing terrorists? But nobody had a problem when they were signing drug dealers. Nobody had a problem when they were perpetuating the spell on our own people that would have our own people look at our own people like we are the enemy, like we are the enemy of our own. Like, damn, yo, I hate black people. All they want to do is destroy each other. All they want to do is perpetuate this and perpetuate that. Who's bankrolling it? I was there. I saw it. Who's bankrolling it? I was in the meetings like a fly on the wall.
I was there too.
I'm like, yo, this is unbelievable. Reality shows. I've seen how that works. It's all scripted. All of the producers are of a European, a Greco-Roman descent, meaning that they are not heterosexuals. The majority of them. You understand? And they'll manipulate the story to point in the direction of a narrative. So you got to remember, all of us are writers. All of us are producers. All of us are part of the Hollywood cabal. We're in the mountains or the hills of Hollywood right now doing this lecture. I throw some shit up there that puts us all on code, all on narrative, and I say, this is what we're going to bank on for the next 2 years. You're going to come from it from all different angles, but that's the narrative. That's what we're pushing. And that's how they're going to do it. So, as you can see, they're all on code now. As you can see, when I say code, understand what I mean by code. As you can see, the Europeans are on code. I don't give a fuck who they voted for. Pardon my French. It doesn't matter if they voted for Hillary. What they're doing now is cooking all of them. They all get on code. All right, that's cool. She lost. Are you getting on code or not? So it's about converting. Because remember, the European does a good job of converting. He converts. That's called assimilation. That's called conversos. That was the title that they gave our people when they conquered us in Spain, and they wanted to take us from being Muslims into Christians. They will convert you. So when you study into history, you'll see these Roman or these Spanish names, but they're talking about Africans who they converted and changed their names.
Anybody live out west? Anybody been out west?
Hopefully.
Anybody familiar with missions out west? Marin City, one of the biggest sites for one of the biggest missions. All through California, they have these enormous structures, and they're called missions. And these are where the Europeans set up shop to convert, quote-unquote, Native Americans or Indians. They converted them. Either you convert or you die. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they're definitely about the conversion game. Come on.
Yeah, so the conversion that they are attempting through media, and, you know, they're beginning to create a narrative where black people or groups of black people are rioting and protesting and they're anti-Trumping it, and they're going to be painted with the brush like, you know, this is the reason why we're here. This is the reason why we have to make it great again. These are threats to our greatness.
Democracy, yes.
Yes,
These are threats to the
these are
democratic process.
Exactly.
Even though they just showed you through WikiLeaks who the threat to the democratic process is. The Democrats. Okay? And of course the Republicans, because we know that that's two wings of the same party. But they clearly showed you that these elections are manipulated, bought and paid for. You know what I'm saying? And definitely, you know, they're swayed in a way in which is not in line with the whatever they're selling you in terms of democracy. You know what I'm saying? We clearly can see that. You know? So why are our people continuing to participate in something that a few months ago we was clearly saying was broken? But the minute election time came around, you know what I'm saying, the flags came out and people got in their feelings. And they're telling us that we're responsible for Trump getting in office because we had the nerve to be out front telling our people what Hillary was about. And we're just translating what's on the internet and what's on TV. It's just not being reported in mainstream media, but we like, look, this is what's going on. And then we got to tell you about Trump? We ain't got to tell you about Trump, but you need to know about Hillary as well because categorically our people vote as Democrats. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's not about Trump or Hillary. You know, it's about our people having their... It's no longer about you being told what it is that you need to do. It's no longer being told that her presidency hinges upon your vote. But she don't even have the common sense or the courtesy to come to you and make some sort of overture to you to be like, look, you know, free hot sauce for all of y'all if I win. Like, she didn't even make an overture. You feel me? It's just guaranteed. Oh, we got this. It's in the bag. You know what I'm saying? I'm the wife of the first black president. I got this. You know? So, I don't know what else to say outside of that. But, you know, we have found ourselves in a place, once again, where the decision is ours. The decision is in our hands. You know what I'm saying? We can go along with the script, or we can start writing our own script. You know what I mean? For those that have been advocates of, you know, we need to do our own thing, whether that own thing is right here in these quote-unquote Americas, or it's across the pond, it's across the sea, whatever it is, they've given us the opportunity to really get on that particular platform and speak to our people about doing for self. You know? So...
Yeah, and my whole thing is, it's very important to be able to distinguish when our people become conscious out of fear, right? In necessity, versus when they wake up because this is something that they are online to do. Because a whole lot of new people are going to be conscious, and you know, because consciousness is going to be seen as a rest haven now. You know, yo, I just saw some shit about Black Power Awards. They look pretty well put together out there. I'm going to get down with that. And that's not to take away from the sincerity of those who do want to do that. We must welcome everybody who wants to be a part of this community, because overall strength is in numbers. If we don't have our people on our side, we're going to have to face the reality that we're going to have our people against us. And I don't want to live in that reality. You know what I mean? I have nothing but love, respect, and honor for our people, even for those of us that are of lower frequencies, who operate in our lower self. You know what I'm saying? We were there before. I'm speaking about myself personally, so I understand that change is needed. People have to go through things. And sometimes you wake up based off of some tragedy that takes place. Sometimes you have to go through a crisis in order to lift the veil and know that this is not what they say it is. So I'm not necessarily trying to say that they're not worthy of our support and they're not worthy of our, you know, of all of the things that is that we should be doing. But what I am saying is that we have to be very critical. We have to create a level of assessment. You know what I mean? And in order to alleviate all of those things, we all just have to get busy. We all have work to do. Because I feel, in my humble opinion, in labor, in laborious activities, okay, the brothers and the sisters can understand where I'm going with this. When you're laborers, meaning when you're doing something and working towards something, and you're coming up with goals and you're reaching them, that creates a bond. That's why it's so hard for us to detach from the European. I went through a lot to get away from them. All right? I went through a lot. They had tentacles in me. Okay? Because we labored together. We did things together. We built. They cut checks. You understand? They fed the brother. You know what I mean? They smiled at me. They were very courteous. And they still are. And I'm cool with that. Because it's not about running around being angry at anybody. Okay? Some of my fiercest enemies are inside of me. And some of the people who are my fiercest adversaries are of my genome. They're of my makeup. They look like me, phenotypically and stuff like that. Like Negroes that look like you can hurt you quicker, faster, and more deadlier than some European who can't really slide up on you. You let a peckerwood try to slide up, you're like, yo, where you going? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? You slide off like, wait a minute. What are you doing? They can't get that close to us. Who can get close to you?
The people.
Your baby daddy can get close to you. Okay? Your homie. All right? The sister that you bagged from Instagram that you trying to go on that hot date with. She's trying to set you up. I'm just saying, I read about things like that. I'm just saying, you got to be, I would never try to pull no wool over no grown-ass men and women's eyes and give you this fake-ass feel-good Kool-Aid. We're going to have Kool-Aid in the back, but it's alkaline, and it's not to put you to sleep. We're not doing that. We understand that we have an internal conflict and external conflict. We have a covert war taking place. We have an overt war taking place. Okay? We have some shit going on inside the house, and we got some shit going on outside the house. What we want to do collectively is try to fix anything that's taking place internally first. Like fix the house first. You dig what I'm saying? And then we could work on fixing shit that's going on outside the house. I can't fix your house. But I can show you how I'm working on trying to fix my house, or how I fix some of the tables in my house and the chairs. You know what I mean? Sometimes we got the whole goddamn house to fix. We got, it's make my house over type of shit. You know what I mean? Some people just got to fix a window or two. Some people just have a knob to fix. They've been doing good. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own level of fixing that needs to take place. But you ain't fixing nothing if you run around saying that you scared of Donald Trump. You killing yourself. False expectations appearing real. How do you know that you scared? Huh? How do you know what he gonna do to you? How do you know to be in fear? How the hell do you know what tomorrow's bringing? You didn't even know who the president was gonna be.
Word.
Huh? How do you know these things? Who's telling you these things? Mainstream media again. Oh, it goes back to them. The rappers again. These niggas are tweeting out all kind of scare talk. How many rappers are like, yo, I don't care what nobody says. We good. Alright? And we'll make sure of that. I promise you. All of me and my hitters and my goblins and my gunners and my shooters and all of the goons, we got this. We good. We Gucci. Nobody's saying that. They're not talking like that. They're being speculative in their talks. You could read all through their lines. This shit is borderline coonery. And what you're going to see in this new administration, you're going to see this is the matrix. So you're going to see the conforming of the ciphers in your cipher. These niggas are going to opt out to eat steak. Okay? They're going to want to eat steak. You're going to see the proverbial Agent Smith effect. Meaning that there's going to be somebody that you laying next to, pillow talking, smoking on a joint, right? You might be sipping on some alkaline water, and you're going to say some shit that's conscious, and she's going to turn into Agent Smith. Or he's going to turn into Agent Smith. Right on you.
That's crazy.
Huh? And they're going to push the button. Because Americans are programmed to conform. Americans are programmed to go with the program. Americans are programmed to get along to go along. These niggas, even Black Lives Matter and all of them, they say we just want to get along. They didn't say that they wanted to disrupt. They didn't say that they wanted change. They didn't say that they wanted some of these things. They didn't have a directive. They did not have one. The presidential candidate said that. The politicians said that. Old Black Panthers said that. They was like, we don't even know who they are. They don't got an agenda. And then their website is mad confusing because it's not talking about promoting the black man and the family. On purpose, they're leaving that whole shit out on purpose. They're like, yo, we got to do great for the black family, the black child, the black woman. And yo, there's so many black people out here that need our help. I'm like, damn, you missed the obvious. That's like me saying, yo, out here in the cosmos, yo, the moon be giving us life and those stars are great. Yeah, that universe is awesome. You're like, dang, where's the sun at? You forgot the sun. And you're leaving it out on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So that's not what's up. What we saw last night, what we felt last night, all right, what we witnessed last night is a micronism to the macronism to where we're going, what we need and what it is that we want. I don't need to speculate about no other things. I felt what I needed to feel yesterday. I'm Gucci. I'm going to run with that. I'm going to go with that energy. I'm going to go with that program. And if you have something better, I'll be at your lecture to find out what it is. But that right there is nation building. That was just us coming together where we agree, yo, every weekend when we come out, we dress up, we putting on, we getting on those stages, we performing, we're gonna ceremonially promote ourselves. Something that we don't do. Because we became conscious and we put ourselves in our own dungeon. Niggas lock their own self up. Just lock up the man cave, you know what I'm saying? Go flatten my tires and shit so I don't go out after 12. Hold on. I'm gonna burn my Versace. You know what I'm saying? We became monks. And that's cool. Because there's a level of monkism that you need in order to do what? Take this information serious. You can't be no silly Negro and be involved because this is seriousness. This is so serious because it's life-changing. This is so serious because it may be some of the most important things that you're doing in your life. What are these things that I'm talking about transforming? That's it. What does this information do? It's called self-transformation. If you apply it. If you're serious about the information and you take it in and you spit out the bones, there's things that you don't need, and you chew and swallow the things that you do need, and you're like, oh shit, word. Homie said that to eat this because I don't understand half of the things that he was saying that it could do for you because it's mad deep, but he said that it could make me stronger. So now I agree in my mind because the same way that there's false expectations appearing real, you know what I'm saying? You can do it for other, you can program yourself. You can program your power. You could charge up your water. You could put life into your food. Like when Mama and them was cooking food back in the days, humming and hemming over the food. Right? When Anita Baker was playing in the kitchen, or they had the soul food, the soul music playing while they're doing soul food in a soulful occasion, and everybody is full of soul. You understand? That's how we program our stuff. So the same way that they're programming us into fear, we got to program ourselves back into power. All right? That's what needs to be done. So we need to affirm who we are. We need to affirm why we're here. We need to affirm what this is doing for us, what this information is doing to change our lives for the better. If it doesn't work for you, it's not meant for you. It's mad information out there. How the hell could all information change you? Huh? If that's not working for you, move on. And you got all kind of shit to try. You in a fitting room with a whole bunch of clothes. You can try on so many outfits and uniforms. When that shit fits you, we'll let you know. Dog, that bow tie and bar bottoms, that's your fit. You know what I mean? You let the people tell you. You dig what I'm saying? Yo, them locks look good on you, fam. Do that Bar Marley shit all the way. Okay? If that's what you're gonna do, you know what I'm saying? You know, go get the guitar. Get you a white girl. No, I'm just playing. But that's some of the things that we have to take into accord because we have to now bring together all of the schools of thought and knowledge into one. We have to get into the job of synthesizing. We, the people, not the teachers, not the thought leaders, okay? Not them. It's the people. You have to begin to dictate what you want. You have to begin to dictate what you want to see. You have to begin to dictate your nation. It's not in their hands, okay? They're the ones who are going to come around and share that message to the rest of the people. And they're the ones who have to be able to effectuate that change amongst the other teachers. That's their job. Like Donald Trump did. He got emboldened by the people who was like, yo, we want to burn these niggas. And that's what he's going to do. Okay? That's what he's going. He's like, yo, I got charged with the spirit of white nationality.
Yes.
The boss was talking about nationality, and they got fought against. They were talking about nationhood. They were talking about saying, yo, if you got the testicular fortitude, you can prove that this is your land. If you have the testicular fortitude to prove that Americans are not European, and with that, when you cook that pot, there's all kind of food inside of that. Once you can establish that, then you can say, well, goddamn it, what about that oil that you niggas been getting up out of the land? Now that we've established that we are those people behind those treaties, and we are those people who are indigenous to the Americas, meaning that when you speak to a European, he has to identify descent. Where you from? I'm an American. Where you from? I'm an American. Where's your people from? They're Irish American. Okay then, I thought so. All right. There's Irish Americans, there's Russian Americans, but their ancestors came to Ellis Island or on one of those slave ships, and they were on the slave ships, a majority of them, in chains, indentured servitude. When they emptied out the prisons and had the Europeans come to murder in the name of the crown and the church. All right? With the caveat of them getting land or booty. They brought samples back. Huh? You don't see the paintings in Europe where they have Columbus bring back mad naked people with feathers and shit? And they were copper toned? And he was like, yo, you could do what you want to do with them. They're very docile because they're not war hardened like us. They're not savage like us. They didn't come out of the dark ages. They were coming out of an age of enlightenment. They had gold flowing in the rivers. They had mountains full of gold. They had capstones made out of gold. The women walked around with succulent breasts filled up with milk. They called the Americas the land of milk and honey. I read the journals of De Soto, Cortez, Pizarro, Columbus. These are the European Spanish conquistadors who wrote about us. But that's not what they teach you in school. But if you're smart enough to get into the Ivy League school, they'll teach you that, then you got to take an oath. They'll teach you that, then they'll take you in a room, spank you, you get branded, you become a Greek, and you take an oath. That's how that shit goes. You get a glimpse of the information. And then they make you oath it up, and then they put you in positions of power or servitude, right? Or the illusion of inclusion, and then you get activated, right? And then you get a check. No problem. Get some checks. You won't get resources. You get some stocks. Okay, my niggas, I'll get you a stock market. You can get on the market with us. All right? They'll give you some stocks and certificates, but you won't get anything else. You're not going to get control of the air. You're not going to get control of the land. You're not going to get control of the water. So now if you could prove that you are indigenous to this land and that there's a European, there's an American of European descent who has treaties that ran out. Who's a visitor? He's the alien. He's pulling the illest game on you. Make America great is an oxymoron because America is North America, South America, Central America, the Caribbean islands, and other places that we've never visited. It's not Europe. So make America great. Make what America great? What part of America? When was it? What part of being great? America was great when they weren't here. All right, let's be clear. That's when America was great. So there's all kind of conversations to be had. This administration is the perfect time for those amongst us with the testicular fortitude to have the conversation that motherfuckers been dodging, pardon my French, since time immemorial. Right? So what do we have to do as a people? We have to fortify our base. We have to get on code. Alright? We have to worry about those of us who have woken up. Not about the ones that don't want to wake up. You'll waste your time spinning your wheels trying to wake some people up. If they didn't wake up the day after the election, what's the problem? What are you wasting your time doing? It's almost impossible. Plant your seeds. Keep watering those seeds. But in the meantime, focus on those who have already woke up. It's akin to if all of us signed up. Let's say my father's an English professor. So let's say for his semester at Queens College, he signs up all of these new students, and you all come to my first day of class. You have my syllabus. So you know what I'm going to talk about. I gave it to you in the syllabus. We're clear as to what I stand for and what you're coming to receive. The first day of class, everybody comes in a room like this. I grab my computer and go into the hallway trying to stop people. Yo, you want to sign up to this class? Yo, I'm teaching a deep class. I leave all of y'all in the class. I don't even come back and deal with you. That's what we're doing with this consciousness. That's what we're doing the minute we get woken up and we in these big ass rooms with all of these people that's ready. We in convention centers. We're in, you know what I mean? We're in the debates. We're in the lectures. We're in all of these things, but we're not focused on each other. We're talking about who don't want to be conscious. We're talking about who not waking up. We're talking about how can we get to them. Why are you not focused on you? All right? By a show of hands, how many people in here identify with having a talent, a skill set, or a gift? Catch that, please? Okay? Now, if you're not focusing on that, you're not focusing on anything. You are perpetuating the spell because the jury is still out as to if Negroes with their melanated third eyes, okay, with the power that they have over the holographic universe, the jury is still out as if you niggas didn't cause a lot of this shit on yourselves.
Hello.
All right? With all of that mind power that you gave to the conspiracy theories in the 90s. Did you drop the towers? Huh? Getting down with David Icke and all of those books. Did you bring that about? Are you ushering in the New World Order with your fear? Huh? Are you doing that? You have to ask yourselves that because I used to go back, I went back and watched all of the films from Bobby Hemmett, Delbert Blair, Phil, and all of them. I'm like, damn, shit came true. To the T. Huh? So you got to begin to ask yourself, are we programming our own reality? Because like I said, cognitive dissonance. One day we're Eastern minded, then the next day we're Western minded. We keep jumping places. So one day we on some Dr. Strange shit. Yo, we control all of the environment around us. We create our reality in our minds. We bring about all of these things. But then the next day we don't realize, we're like, yo, how are these things happening to us? What's going on? Where did it come from? Cognitive dissonance. We're out of our minds. Right? We're not being honest with ourselves. So one of the reasons why we're here tonight is because we have an initiative that we started called the F.A.C.T.S initiative. We launched it in February of 2016 on our good brother Sanetta's network. It got received with rave reviews. People were very excited about the initiative. They were very elated about some of the things that were being shown that was available to them. What I'm going to do briefly, because of course we don't have all of the time to deal with it, we're going to run through it briefly and touch on it. What I'm going to need the family to do is to make sure that you print your name clearly, as in legibly, on the piece of paper that's the email list. Because that's the best way that we communicate these days, is through the email rather than cold calling, like calling your phone. I don't like answering the calls all the time. We're very busy as a people. So what we're going to do is communicate through updates, through the email. When we launch these new sites, when we have these webinars and things of that nature, you'll be contacted via email or via your phones. You can also leave your numbers because we'll do a lot of texting in that nature. So let's get right into it. Like I said, I'm going to breeze right through it, and then we're going to get into the other segment of the night. We have a beautiful musical project that we want to play for the family, and we also have vendors in the building we want y'all to support. And we also have snacks going around. If anybody's hungry, if you want some snacks, feel free to let the brother know. And we have beverages as well. And the bathroom is to the back and to the right. The organizations that exist today have not taken full advantage of their membership by implementation of economic solutions to their states of poverty and lack, both individually and collectively. How many of, and I'm not judging, okay? How many people have ever visited a super church, mega church? I need witnesses. Okay. Now, how many people realize that everywhere outside of those mega churches are impoverished? How many people have witnessed what is known as regentrification? Now, what they've been doing is this. I did some studying on something called social entrepreneurship. The Europeans are becoming social entrepreneurs, which is a spin-off of non-for-profits. They're creating budgets. They're getting grants. These grants will give them a grant to live in a neighborhood where they're giving a stipend of a $3,000 rent, or they're giving a stipend to create, they're giving a credit line to create an organization where social entrepreneurship. Yo, I want to go into the jungle. I want to go into the hood and clean that shit up for them. You get a check for that. So now they can come into your area and clean it. And they get paid for that. Then they put a bagel shop and then the rent goes up. My thing is this. How is it that if I belong to a mega church, the preacher didn't charge the churchgoers to grab a broom and clean up? How you got a mega church in an impoverished neighborhood and you couldn't employ the people in those neighborhoods to paint? I got mad bread that Sunday off the tithes or the building fund. You niggas didn't have a cleaning fund. You ain't got a regentrification fund. You didn't have a bagel shop fund where you could have did the same thing that the Europeans are doing. They got Home Depot accounts. They going ham at Home Depot. Huh?
Business credit.
Business credit.
Not associated with your social security.
So 30,000 people in the church, you're not building up everybody's credit? Every Sunday, what are you serious? There's no susu programs in the church. You're not cooking like the Africans. You're not doing what the Jamaicans came and did. My brothers is of Haitian descent. You're not doing what the Haitians did. The Haitians are homeowners in New York. Okay? From the 70s. They not on this late rush. They had houses in the, when came Jamaicans, Haitians, Trinidadians. They was buying homes. They came into the South. They in Conyers, Stone Mountain, and all. They got homes. These niggas came out of shanty towns. There's no palatial estates in Jamaica. How they come in from Jamaica and Haiti to buy homes in America? And they RN nurses, laborers. Huh? They all in the church. They had susu, communal economics, collective economics, cooperative economics, social economics. That's how they built up. That's how they built up. And there's a spirit of family that they have that we don't have. Maybe in the South. I give it to the South. The South has more of a family spirit than New York and other places these mega cities have. We don't got family. I lived in Miami in 2003. I was working with Pitbull. Y'all know him now. He was a crunk rapper back in the days. And they put me up in a building on the beach that was all Cuban. Now, if anybody knows anything about white, because he's a white Cuban, okay? He's with the hood, but he's a white Cuban. So if anybody knows anything about the white Cubans, they worse than a white man.
Yes, they are.
Okay, they hate us. They was blaming me for Fidel. Right? But the sense of family, okay, that they gave me, I cried one day at one of their dinner tables, and they was eating pork. I wasn't eating it, but I cried tears of joy because I didn't feel welcome in my own people's house like that before. I could reach over and grab shit. They passing me food, and you know, everyone is just talking, and it wasn't me personally. It's when I saw how families interact with each other, not based off of income, not based off of status, not based off of none of the trinkets in life that you people, that our people, that other people make you think is the only reason to be happy in life. Not that. They just was happy that there was pork on the table. That's what they were happy about.
That's real.
They were elated. And I was like, yo, this is a feeling that I wish we had as a people, because it would solve a lot of the things that we're going through. Because I'm keeping it 1,000 with you. We're suffering from a level of hate never seen on this planet. Why is that? Because I humbly feel like we've been affected by a people whose nature, right? Whose nature, whose DNA, there's a hate gene in the DNA. And DNA responds to environment. And being that we became integrated into environments that we know nothing of, we're not familiar with the workplace. We're not ready for corporate America. We wasn't. How the hell was you ready for corporate America after they was spitting on you and hitting you with bricks, calling you Negro and all that stuff? And then it was like, yo, the black woman and the black man, y'all could come and work with us. Shit cool. We don't got beef no more. They went and worked with them. Specifically the black woman. Okay? Specifically mama. And went and integrated and assimilated and merged her spirit with that spirit of corporate America and the spirit that it represented with white feminism and other things. Compromised her. Okay? Compromised her being. When she assimilated into that program had malware already into it. Okay, so you downloaded a program and you joined forces with with your gender, with women of your gender. You know what I'm saying? But just because you of the same gender don't mean you the same. Are you the same? I mean, lizards give birth, right? You the same of a woman lizard? Okay? You could be of the same genders or gender. It doesn't make your spirits the same. Genetically, we can prove that there's a difference. Blood type, DNA, chromosomes. You feel what I'm saying? There's just a difference. So our people going into that world, I don't feel like we were ready for that world. The fact that we didn't control media after integrating, because how could you integrate into another people's world, but you don't control the story or the narrative of those worlds? The nation of gods and earth has not taken advantage. If you have more than 10,000 members, everybody's supposed to be wealthy in your organization, in the quote-unquote now. You mean to tell me that you couldn't come up with an Amway version inside of the nation of those bean pods? Huh? You couldn't create stocks. You couldn't create equity. You couldn't create some form of stocks and bonds for those papers? Huh? I mean, I don't get it. If it's all of y'all and y'all don't work for yourself, okay? Because the businesses that they had prior to the first falling of the nation, they don't got those businesses no more. They're not telling you to come to our cleaners and come to our meat shop or my fish shop or come to the farm and things of that nature. So why do these organizations have huge memberships but no economic plans? To whereas even if I'm not part of your organization, I still could put in and be a part. I could be a part of your organization or the economic wing of that organization because I agree with your organization and what it stands for. They don't got that. Hold on real quick. So the new economy that emerged in the Obama era post-2008 stock market crash, and post-depression is the cooperative economy, share economy, peer-to-peer economy, and free economy. I'm highly suggesting that everybody begin to learn those economies because Trump is in power. So they're going to talk that cloth talk. It's going to be talking about new economies. You got to know about technology. You have to know about the new economies. They're going to have Negroes in the 60s, in the 70s, and they're going to be talking about Mars. They're going to have the rest of the world on some future shit, and they're going to leave you niggas stuck with protesting, die-ins. They're going to bring the hose out. They're going to hold you down and superimpose the hosing picture with the old hosing picture and be like, yo, that little girl was wearing the same dress. That shit was from Target. This one was from Woolworth. It's Mandela effect. And all of these things, and just put you in a deeper hole. Because revolution means revolving. So they're revolving Negroes back into an analog mind state. They're revolving you into back in the days while they're working on the future. Case in point, they keep bringing about the fact that this new Trump presidency reminds us of Jim Crow. It reminds us of Birth of a Nation when the KKK first came out. It reminds us of chattel slavery. So they got you all in the time machine, taking you back to all of the times when you was oppressed. Supposedly. Allegedly. Because they won't show you, they won't explain to you what the mind state of our people was that had us dressing like that when you saw the UNIA parades. That was in the 20s. They was sharper than a tack. Right? Mm-hmm. So based off of your uniform and the way that you put it together, in the way, not just on the way that they were dressed, but based off of the way that they carried, you could see the spirit in them. These were no dummies. Did you read Du Bois' work? Have you read Booker T's work? Have you read Frederick Douglass's work? They were not retarded. All right? They were not groveling Negroes. They were not illiterate. So what was going on? Who was teaching them? What were they reading? What were they learning all the way back then? So they were evolving us back to a place where they want us to believe that we were dumbed down, impoverished, poverty-minded, illiterate, and all of these other things, but there's clear, distinct literature that is out here that was written in the late 1800s and the early 1900s by our ancestors, and it was of high intelligence. All right? So we have to study the new economies. We have to be able to know, because of this technological boom, that there's no such thing as you cannot complain. You have to let go of the victim role. You got to let go of complaining. You have to let go of living in lack. That shit doesn't exist around the world right now. That's not how they operate. They on the web, getting bread, making mergers, coming together and creating things. They're being the inventors that we were in the late 1800s. What happened to us? Huh? How is it that we're not inventing anything? But when we came fresh out of slavery, we have 100 inventions plus. So these new economies emerged after they toppled the last economy in the 2008 crash. Right around the time that Obama came in, they killed an old economy. And a new economy began to emerge, and that's what they began to rebuild off of. That's what Uber is, peer-to-peer. Meaning that if I have a car and I'm not doing anything with it, and you need a ride, we've learned how to monetize that now. It's in the billions. Airbnb. I got a crib. You need somewhere to stay. I got an extra room at my girl's house. I'm going to just go and stay in that, and I'm going to monetize you staying in my room. We were doing that already. How many niggas done slept on my couch? Okay? Huh? But I didn't monetize it. How many people came and stopped by the crib and took the basement or the guest room or the other room, but you didn't monetize it? They ate everything in the refrigerator, but you didn't monetize it. Right? So the share economy is the fact that they've monetized sharing. The peer-to-peer economy, they've monetized the fact that peer and peer, that's where the money is. The residue of peer-to-peer interactions is the money. The money is not, the money is equal, is E equal EMC, E2 equal square. It's the equal. It's the residue of the formula. It's the result of the relationship or the interaction. It's the A plus B equals C. The money is the C. So the money is not where it's at. That's not to focus. You don't focus on the money. The money comes, but you focus on the amount of the result based off of the A and the B, the interaction. It's the interaction. So 9 times out of 10, if you clear $1 billion, it's based off of your intellectual property. How the hell did Dr. Dre get the $1 billion? The headphones came from where? The idea from the beats came from where? That came from mind. Okay? Technology is mental first before it's physical. So this right now is technology. We're solving problems. We're hacking. We're building. It's called mental technology. You take the information, you take it home, you apply it, you come up with something, you invent something that becomes a physical form of a technology, right? Then that gets prototyped and that's physical. Now that's the iPhone or whatever. But it started as an idea. The shit doesn't make itself. You feel what I'm saying? It doesn't create itself. It all starts as a thought. We're the European, we're the Asian, we're the continental African, we're the Eastern Indian, and other people are winning is that they're able to fund their thoughts. We good on ideas, but we ain't great on execution.
Yes, say that again.
We good on the ideas. We smoke a lot of weed. Niggas be having ideas out there. Wow. And then you hit the L, you like, whew, let me get my patch. Wait a minute, I solved it. Hold on. If I could tell you the nights, the sleepless nights that Blue Pill kept me awake with his life-changing premonitions and stuff. You know. It would amaze me. It would amaze you. But what we don't have is the budgets to fund the ideas. What the European has is the budgets to fund the ideas. That's why he has what is known, that's why he's initiated brain drain. Brain drain is the fact that, yeah, it's a lot of deep conscious people. It's a lot of professional conscious people. It's a lot of progressive conscious, it's a lot of innovative conscious people. But they work for Google, Lockheed Martin, right? They all up on Lockheed Martin. They're working for Dell. They're working for Apple. They get them in Mensa. So all those articles that we see where the 8 and 9 and 10 and 12-year-olds are going into the college, shit, I'm here to tell you that they're gone. Never to be seen again. Once Mensa gets them, once them European gets them, whoop, they sign a check, they contract them, and you can't even move because you're contractually locked in. You was that smart, but you wasn't smarter than me because they know how to lock it in through the legalese. They'll get you in the contract. And now they own their minds. And now they'll give them the fiat, which is that they said, oh, you niggas is chasing the equal. You're chasing the C in the formula. We don't have a problem with that. We want the B. We want the creation, the invention. You niggas want 100,000 at the end of the year? Great. You're going to create something that's going to be $100 million to our investors.
Facts.
Okay?
9 o'clock.
It's what?
9 o'clock.
Okay. All right.
You gotta get into the room.
Yeah. So, these economies have been integrated into Web 2.0 and social media to market, promote, sell, buy, share, engage, communicate, host, and socialize with their target audience, their niche audience, and their competition. As a result of these factors, as well as others not mentioned, we are now in the time that never existed before. We are theoretically in the future, a new era or new age promised by gurus, shamans, seers, diviners, messengers, prophets, visionaries, and futurists. The world is connected via nodes and networks that spread to every corner of the universe. We have the ability to communicate globally in real time with thousands, if not millions of people, direct to market. The possibilities, therefore, are endless. How could you see that if you're complaining? How could you see that if you're playing victim? How could you see that if you're scared of Trump? He's a businessman. All of them are on code. They're about to go and do business in the name of Trump around the world. White boys going wild. They did it in the name of Obama. They were sliding into all kind of markets in the name of a black man.
They did it in the name of Bush.
They did it in the name of Bush. That's what they're going to do. They're going to be heavy on tech. They're going to do everything in their powers to keep you out of the market. They're going to make it seem like they got beef with you. You're not going to want to get a suit on and a three-piece and get on that plane and go to China or go into anywhere where they got legalized marijuana. You're not going to want to play in the field of big business with them because they got you thinking on the bottom, on a trailer park level, that they're more powerful than you now. And that they're out to kill you. So Negroes are going to fall into a level of their lower self. They're going to break the ceiling on their lower self and go further down into the lower self. It's not going to propel them to, I'm going to boss up and get on my job. Fuck, I'm going to make them look crazy and I'm going to get, no, we self-destruct when it's in fear. We back up until we fall off the cliff. That's what we do as a people, a scary people. Okay? But we need to be amongst those of us that are going to charge us. We need to come amongst those of us that are going to give us directions. We need to come amongst those of us that have our best intentions at hand. Because there's a lot of people getting up there spitting that talk, you know what I mean, and talking the talk. But, are they really here for you? Are they really going to put forth an initiative? Because an initiative, the definition of an initiative is to take control of the situation in your own hands, not waiting for them. How the hell are we going to wait for anybody but ourselves? Who else is doing that? I haven't seen anybody else doing that. Nobody else is talking about letting anybody decide their fate for them, but black people. These are just some of the brands. Seventh Heaven CMOS. What the F.A.C.T.S initiative represents is the fact that we need to build networks of businesses and brands and come together inside of this industry. This is an industry we belong to. Okay? Those of us that are content creators, those of us that are business entrepreneurs, those of us that are serial entrepreneurs, those of us that are social entrepreneurs, those of us that are trendsetters, brand ambassadors, you name it. We are carrying and doing a lot of heavy lifting right now, building up brands and raising the value of our people right now, in the now. Like I said, let's deal with the now. Okay? The power is not in the past. It is not in tomorrow. It's in the now. So how do we become more powerful? We become more powerful by consolidating our power. We become more powerful by strengthening our foundation, meaning that we have to create budgets. We have to create a treasury. We have to create our credit. We have to strengthen ourselves. We have to convince a brother who wants to get out of that 9 to 5, a sister who wants to get out of that 9 to 5. She has a talent. She has a skill set. She has a dream. But she's like, shit, I got 3 children. I got to feed them. They're in school. They're in daycare. You dig what I'm saying? I got bills. So I can't roll the dice. This shit ain't about, I'm too young. I'm not young right now. I ain't in college rolling the dice. I'm responsible. I got families. So how do we come together responsibly and roll the dice? Huh? We have to ask ourselves that. So these are some of the brands. K-Tail Empowerment. That's the MLM that we did an MLM in 2014 called Feeder Matrix. It was very successful. We did it just to see if we could do something in that realm of what they call internet marketing, right? Or multi-level marketing. Something that our sister, Madam C.J. Walker, she bust her gun on that. She set that off. Marcus Garvey set that off when he was selling stocks and equity in his companies. That's what they perfected. Avon and these other people are Johnny-come-latelys, and they put, once again, they put on your cloak, your clothes, and then they stepped out looking like you, and now you don't want to deal with it, or you want to give them the power as if they're the progenitors or the creators of that science. And they're not. They're following a formula and staying true to it. Know the Ledge Radio, if you have Google, this is a radio show that we did on Blog Talk Radio when we were doing podcasts. 600 plus episodes are in the archives with all of the teachers dealing with all of the topics. and everything that you can imagine. The health and wellness line with the CMOS that my brother has brought forth. Sinetta TV, that's one of the platforms or the new media platforms that we're on, where we broadcast new media, content creation, interviewing our people, being interviewed, doing all kind of stuff. But this is the new media. This is the new TV. I got babies coming up to me and say, yo, I watch you on TV. I'm like, that's awesome. I never had that when I was young. You know? So these are, and that's the handles, Blue Pillar, F44, L Filthmore. I just want to breeze through this real quick, and then we're going to get into some of the music. This is F.A.C.T.S. Like I said, after we're done tonight, like we want everybody to sign up on the email list. This is going to be a membership site. When I started out, I wanted to do an app. All right, we have a goal. The goal is to sign up 30,000 people. I'm going to show you the breakdown of the 30,000 and why that makes sense. What I'm going to do and what's going to make more sense is to create a membership site. The membership site is going to allow those 30,000 people to come together, not only to network on a site, but to be able to build with each other.
Open your phone. Mom's calling.
All right? Okay, so let me break down what F.A.C.T.S is quickly to the family so you can have a greater understanding of what this program is and where we're taking it and why Atlanta is so important. All right? We have a house out here. My mother owns a house. So we will definitely be back in Atlanta more than we've been here before. We're going to be coming back at least twice a month to continue the conversation, to continue doing workshops, to build so we can make this a convention. Similar to what we saw yesterday, like I said, to keep that level of excellence keep that bar high. It's all about keeping the bar high. That way our people will be able to raise as high as that standard. That's how we work. We level up. Okay? Our frequencies are able to level up when we come amongst greatness. When we come amongst things that are at a high, you know how the youth are, they adapt. So when you put them into situations where the level are low, they will adapt to that as well. What do they call that? I'm going in my bag. Okay? I'm going into my lower self. Alright? I'm turning up. I'm going in. Right? So the same way that we could go in like that, we need to start going in to raise ourselves up to a higher level. Like my good brother Young Pharaoh does with his information. Please give him a round of applause, please. Alright? That brother's here to raise up the frequencies. He's here to raise up the knowledge. He's here to raise up the awareness of the youth, of the brothers and the sisters, and also of the elders of our people. So anybody that's in our community that is working to raise our people up, not tear our people down, not to lower their stocks, but to raise them up. These are the people that we need to support, especially in these days and times. My brother Tahir RBG, please give that brother a round of applause, because what that brother does in his broadcast. Please, Sister Chef Aki, 1 minute, real quick. What he does with his demonstration and his artwork and his juju and his music, he raises the frequencies and the levels up of our people. He charges them up. He's introducing African traditional systems that are sacred, meaning that it can't be found on Google in a book. He's bringing that back to our people. He's raising them up. When Chef Aki is doing her videos, when she's speaking to the people, when she's informing them about the information that the food is giving her, when she's showing you that even Oprah, Wendy Williams, and all of these people are listening, she's raising us up. When she's talking about what the food will do for us, she is saving lives and raising us up. Please give the sister a hand, a round. All right? So we have to raise the vibes to the people and keep it on high. Okay? We have to keep it on high. We have to keep it continuously raised up. Yes.
Brother, so this was given to me, I believe we were at the Urban Natural Hair Health and Wellness Conference.
Yes.
And this was given to me for Sadie
but in my spirit, I just could not keep this for myself, so I wanted to make sure I brought it today. I meant to give it to you before, but basically I'll just read it to you guys so you can see. Natural Hair Mag, Health and Wellness Conference presents Dr. Sadie in loving memory of our healer and master teacher, Sadie. You have ascended, but your legacy lives on. I appreciate the work you and your brother are doing. We love you, and this should be yours.
Oh, man. Ashe. That, you know, Dr. Sabi, his untimely demise and his ascendancy, you know, is definitely something that I've seen over the past few months. You know, when they say that we don't die, we multiply. So I've seen that my master teacher, my elbow, my Baba, I've seen him in the eyes of a baby, okay, a 5-year-old who was able to recite his nutritional list to me, okay? So one of the great things about our great ones is that when we're here, our job, our duty is to be great. Because when we leave this planet, we will ascend and we will multiply. So those amongst us will be able to come forward and say that your work is not done in vain, that you are here in my heart and my mind. So that's what Sabi represents, and that's who we have to live up to. That is one of the greatest men on this planet that I've met since I've been here. And like I said, we're not talking about Jesus figures, because we have to remove ourselves, because inside of consciousness, some of us brought some of that Christian residue with us. Meaning that we're judging our teachers, our leaders, our griots, our babas, our master teachers, our oracles on Christian standards. So if they use profanity, we side-eyeing them like, I don't know what's wrong with him. Like, what is he going through? Right? If the attire is not necessarily of a traditional attire, you know what I mean? You're doing the mudcloth scan. Where's the mudcloth? Where's the kente? He doesn't look traditional enough. You know what I mean? Why is he talking about Africa? You feel me? There's all kind of these, I would say, prejudices that were triggers. You know what I mean? That we're applying to each other, that we have to get off of. One of the things that I could relate to, I'm sure that Pharaoh could relate to, KT, the people that are coming up to me, that are identifying themselves as conscious. It has no clothes. You cannot identify consciousness. Okay? It has no behavior. It has no walk. It has no outfit or uniform. This is an invisible university. Alright? So with that being said, this is about self-mastery. This is about being able to perfect oneself on one's journey. This is the knowledge of self. Man, know thyself. So it's about how can I change in front of the people. So if I don't show you that I'm infallible, then what the hell are you watching me change into? Okay? So he came forward and said, yo, up until I was 40 years old, I was impotent. I was fat. I was overweight. This is Sadie talking. I was on dope. I was a merchant seaman. I cursed like a sailor. I was a womanizer. At 40, he said, I resurrected into a whole nother life. So from 40 to 80 plus, he lived out that transformation of perfect balance. Ma'at. You feel what I'm saying? So we can't condemn our brothers and sisters. We can't condemn our people who've gone through some darkness. You understand? We can't condemn some of our people who are enveloped in the darkness. Because that's just a cocoon. What is the darkness going to create? Is it going to be a butterfly, or are they going to stay in that box? You have to be able to ask yourself. So facts is this: food, agriculture, health and wellness, self-preservation, electric foods, raw foods, superfoods, horticulture. Many of us, especially in Atlanta, can identify with the movements that are taking place in the names of these things that I just said. Marijuana became legalized in many different states this election season. One of the things that will be getting noticed is that none of us are part of that business anymore. Right. A lot of niggas in jail though. How about that? A lot of growers in jail. A lot of hustlers, and you know, all of these people are locked up. But when they were creating this industry for years now, there were all these marijuana conventions, all of these other things that were taking place. What they were doing were coming together and putting into place all of the obstacles that they were going to use to lock this down. Right? They locked us out of it. So now, the horticulture business was multi-billion-dollar business. We're going to be on the outside looking in unless we begin to find ways to get inside of that business. So many different ways to get in. All right, agriculture. If we're not growing our own foods, if we're not hollering at the black farmers who need our support, if we're not going to farmers markets, remember you're in Georgia, directly outside of the city is all kind of empty land. On the way down here we drove, all we were seeing was mad barren land. In the Carolinas, in Virginia, there's no excuses. There's superfoods now. Moringa, spirulina, we know about these things now. We have our savvy food list, so we know what to grow and what not to grow. Okay? We need to begin to do this. All right? Health and wellness. All right? Like the with the sister Aki, Chef Aki, who was just here. Momma Pill, Dr. Sabi, Brother Blue Pill, KT the Arch Degree. All right? These people represent health and wellness, which is $1 billion industry. Meaning that there's an industry now to stay good, stay looking good, feeling good, and doing good. They made an industry out of that. And you can be a part of that industry. And this is your industry by nature. They're taking some of the formulas that Big Mama had. They're taking some of the things that they taught them on the islands, and they're utilizing that. The whole Whole Foods is filled with things that are indigenous to our lands. KT the Arch Degree, that's my younger brother. Please give him a hand. All right. As soon as we wrap this up, we're going to get into the music. All right. The album Listening. Okay. I don't know if me and my brother will be dancing tonight. We're going to listen to some music. This project. Art. Liberal arts. New media. Animation. Music. Film. I'm speaking to my creatives. I'm saying, I'm making an appeal to you. Please save your people. Okay? Please save your people. Meaning that if you write movies, write a movie where you're saving your people. If you write albums and you're a musician and you're a poet, please write some poetry where niggas are winning at the end. Okay? If you are an animator, like you nice with the 3D CGI thing, can you please create an environment where we have power? We need some get back.
We need to see us in the future.
We need to see us in the future. There's a term called Afrofuturist. It's a huge movement right now. I'm encouraging you to do research on that. Octavia Butler belongs to, she's in that, she will be considered one. Pharaoh, Pharaoh Sanders will be considered one. Sun Ra will be considered one. Sophia Stewart, by writing The Matrix, all the way back then, is an Afrofuturist. She put niggas in the future. Okay? We don't have that. Like I said, they'll take us and brain drain us and put us in Marvel and DC and other places, and Spielberg will take us and pay us off, and you won't see the brightest of us because they lock them into their businesses and their entities. And they pay them off to be the driving creative forces. Yeah. So music, like the project that we have called Scorpion King, the reason why we did this is because we want to reach a demographics of our people who might not listen to me standing up here talking like this. They're like, yo, that shit boring to me. They're riding around getting it. Okay? They're blowing on some gas or some loud. They're chasing shorty that they met last night in the club. You feel what I'm saying? They on Snapchat. They want something to add on to that experience. So you have to get into the realm of entertainment in order to reach your people the same way that we were teenagers before. Why we acting like we was never teenagers? What's up with the arrogance? Huh? That we get so conscious, we get cognitive dissonance. We forget that we was teenagers and we needed to be entertained. We needed some turn up shit too in our life in order, before we was like, alright, I'll give it a shot. So that's what we did. We created some music that was diverse. That would speak to different regions, speaking their language. You dig what I'm saying? Film, We need films, we need short films. We have something called Netflix that we're introducing, a streaming service. Me and my brother got 2 hard drives full of videos and footage, but I don't want to put it on YouTube. I don't like YouTube. I mean, you don't know about the restrictions. There's certain things that you cannot say, you can't do, you can't put music on there. There's all kind of people watching you and all that. Oh, they play with the numbers and all of that stuff. I don't want YouTube. Their monetary system, the way that they pay the creators are almost slave-like. It's an embarrassment. The checks, even though they come in handy, but you would make more in a streaming service. Control your content. In the new Trump administration, with Giuliani becoming the Attorney General and these other crackers getting in office, I'm just rolling the dice by saying that I don't think that a lot of things that are being said on YouTube is going to be allowed to be said in the next upcoming years. So you have to begin to get off of that grid and get into your own networks. So we're going to introduce original programming, music, videos, all of these different things through Netflix. That will be a part of the membership service when the family signs up. Clothing, brands, apparel design, manufacturing, wearable tech, industry. Clothing is an industry. Socks, underwears, t-shirts, we all wear them. There are machines out there that you can purchase and manufacture. There's factories in Atlanta. There's factories in Detroit. There's factories in Cleveland. There's factories in Buffalo, Rochester, and all of these places that are factory towns that still have the machinery inside of them. Where you can make t-shirts, socks, underwear, boxers, hoodies, jeans. There's our brothers and sisters from 116th that shouted out. They came to us. They'll take you into places, into Senegal. They'll take you to Ghana where you can get fabric. You can source fabric. You can go into India and source, build like hundreds of yards and pay for it and get it shipped over. Create your own clothing. That is an industry. There's clothing lines that are out here right now. Shout out to the family right there with their clothing line. Okay, I have my clothing line. I've been working on this clothing line for many, many years. It's not an easy thing. As we learn, as we grow along, we're still growing. It is not an easy task. Okay, I learned through making clothes, the production means everything. If you do not control production, you do not control anything. Okay, if you have an album and you're not producing those beats, the producer takes the lion's share. If you're in the movies and you're not the producer of your movie, you don't control some of the creative control of your movie. The producer does, right? If you want to eat and you don't control the production of produce, nigga, you don't eat. If you don't control all of these things and you want to reproduce with the black woman, guess what she'll tell you? You're not going to be able to reproduce because you don't produce. And you're not into production. So what do the black women say to the black man? I'm getting rid of the baby nigga because you can't produce. I don't want to bring the star seed into this planet because there's a threat to his life and there's a threat to him being fed because niggas don't grow food anymore. But when we were down south, Big Mama had 20 plus. When we were in Detroit, when we were in Chicago in the industries, the car industry and things of that nature, there were baby booms taking place because what? We were controlling production. We have to get back to production. Black man, you got to get back to production. And you live in the future where there's 3D printer machines, where there are all of these new technologies taking place, where you don't even have to have the, go and watch how it's made on cable or something. Go check those machines out. You go to Alibaba.com, you can buy all of these machines. So, I'm going, but I gotta go. Transportation, travel, distribution, Airbnb. We all in Atlanta right now, right? How many of us needed a ride today? Nobody needed a ride? Yeah, I needed a ride. You know what I'm saying? You know, for the people that come to Atlanta and don't know the politics of Atlanta, they don't know that if you don't got a ride in Atlanta, you're not going nowhere. They don't know about being held hostage in your own house. This niggas left me as a hostage. You know what I'm saying? It's like a little bit of water left. You know what I mean? A swallow of some alkaline tea. You know what I'm saying? You looking at your clock. You don't know about, so you need transportation. If we're going to maneuver as a family, if we're talking about going and moving all somewhere, if we're talking about being able to move at the drop of a dime, who's going to move us? Greyhounds, Peter Pan, the China bus? We got to be able to move. So even when we do monumental weekends like this, we have a transportation service moving all of us to these places. Because you're going to see a lot of us coming together a lot more in the near future, because the time for the grand gathering is here. Not the lecture, the grand gathering. The whole weekend where we're going to decide on that weekend if we leaving or not, on some Bundy shit. Look, we're going to take over the bird sanctuary. Just stay. You know what I mean? Because that's what we want to do. Technology, so important. You can never pass that. That is what's needed right now. Give it to your babies. They're the ones. They're the engineers. They are the future. They're digital. The parents are analog. All right? They're hardwired. They're the ones. They're the future. App development, computer language, SaaS, service as a software. That's the algorithms that things like Uber, Airbnb, and all of them are built off of. Service as a software. Creating software that provides a service. Multi-billion-dollar industry. They call it enterprise. Okay, look into that. Shelter. We need shelter. How many homeless people do you know? I know a lot. In New York, it's all kind of homeless people. This nigga's just laying in the streets now. I feel like stepping on them sometimes. Like, I'm like, why? Are you laying in the middle of the streets? You's a grown-ass man with an able body. Why you not working? Why we not working them? Why we not putting them to work? These niggas is eyesores. Okay? They're using them as a means to molest us. So we need to begin to put these people to work or to duty to do some stuff. I want to merge with you. I want to collabo with you. I want to buy from you. I want to build your credit up because I got a bag. I got 10 racks in credit. You got about 20 racks. Let's build with each other. You build relationships. F the money. That is residue. It's the relationship. That's the money. Okay? That's where it's at. So that's what we need to focus on. Alright? That's the currency. The currency is the magnetism. How strong, how loyal are you? How strong, how attached to a person's cause. I'm tight with that. You know, when people are like, I'm tight, that means that magnetic bond is like this. I'm 100 with that bro. I'll kill for him. You dig what I'm saying? That means that y'all tight based off a relationship, not the money. Money can't buy that. Alright? So, real quick, because I'm getting they get me the 4-week incubator, 30,000 at 20 is 600 racks. So think about a 600 rack budget that gets divvied up through the networks. Okay? On a weekly basis. So we're not playing the pump faking game of you gotta wait for this, you gotta have you well wishing on shit, wishing on a star. Okay? None of that. It's right here. The budget is right here. And then we're able to tap into these budgets as members or as investors in these networks. Alright? So 2.4 on a monthly total. And of course, we're talking about being completely transparent because we live in a digital age where cyber currency or cryptocurrency allows you to have open ledgers. It's called a blockchain. You got to get into that. You cannot hide that money. And if you spend 1 penny of it, it's on the open ledger. And then you hire something called CPAs. And then you hire a board of treasuries, which is about 3 or 4 elders that we trust. So they're able to allocate the funds and you don't got to deal with any kind of fuckery or niggerisms. Or some of the things that we see take place and topple many different organizations where there's a rule, there's pyramids. All right? And in those pyramids, people abuse those pyramids. One of the worst pyramid schemes is your 9 to 5. Because the CEO is at top and you at the bottom in the mailroom. All right? That's a pyramid scheme. You're getting him a lot of money. So the second phase is nation builders. 30,000 at $50 weekly. That's 1.5 million on a weekly basis 4-week incubator. Incubators are what is known inside of the business world as there's accelerators and incubators inside of the startup world. An incubator similar to the incubator that you saw in KFC, or when they have babies born prematurely and they put them in the incubator to strengthen them. So inside of the incubator as an LLC, you're getting advice, you're speaking to lawyers, you're talking to other businesses, you're getting stronger, okay, in those 4 weeks. And you're learning about your business, you're learning about your market, you're learning about many of the things that are keys that we necessarily won't get up here and just talk about, you know, because that's inside of the business. Right? So that's a 4-week incubator with a $6 million monthly total. It sounds crazy. Niggas is like, that's impossible. It's no way it can happen. Why? Because we are taught to fear the future. We are taught to fear some shit that haven't been done before. We only romanticize things that have been done and keep rewinding the tape. Revolution, revolve, going back, going back, going back. Sankofa, niggas got broken necks. Because you only want to talk about something that was done, but you don't want to talk about doing something that hasn't been done yet. We are afraid to venture into these murky waters. Third phase is pyramid builders. 30,000 at 100. By the third phase. This is a 90-day initiative. 30 days each. By the third, you are going to be receiving the only time that you'll spend your own money is in the first phase at the $20. By the time you're in the second phase, you're going to be making money. So $50 may seem like it's a lot to you on a weekly basis, but $50 will not be any. You'll be ready to spend $50 a day if you had to, because we spend 10 and 20 a day on like that's a meal. Bud. That good bud. You know? So, the third phase is pyramid builders, 4-week accelerator, $3 million on a weekly take. It's a $12 million monthly total. Like I said, we don't have all of the answers. Nor do we never acted like we did. But what we do have are some solutions. We have an initiative. An initiative is the ability to assess and initiate things independently. Use your initiative, imagination, and common sense. Synonyms. If this applies to you, I'm going to read the synonyms. Self-motivation. By a show of hands, how many people can identify with that?
Right here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Legend. Resourcefulness, inventiveness, imagination, ingenuity, originality, creativity, enterprise, and many more. That's not white people. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's not them. That speaks to who we are to the T. It's almost as if I was giving you a DNA breakdown about who we are as a people. That's the initiative. So you don't wait on the Trumps. You don't wait on the Clintons of the world. You don't wait on nobody to do nothing for you but yourself. And you don't apologize for taking your future in your own hands. That's what we're doing. The power or opportunity to act or take change or charge before others do. That's what we're representing with the F.A.C.T.S initiative. Okay? So we're offering shares of social entrepreneurship. We're offering sweat equity in the ventures we have launched. We're offering MLM system, reward crowdfunding system, income fortune building option to create wealth within the network. We're offering an affiliate program with all featured brands on the F.A.C.T.S network. K-Tail Empowerment Network, Kings County Network, 7 Heaven Greenleaf Herbal Network. We're offering wholesale bulk order program for Horticulture, Kings County Clothiers, Mark 125th, and Apparel Normal. These are all being rolled out through this year. That's why we're here celebrating our solar year. Because the build-up that we did from November 14, 2015 to get us to where we're at today is part of that build-up. And we're going to show, we're showing you what we're going to be working on for the next 365 days a week. You dig what I'm saying? In order to keep this thing moving.
Red and blue, purple like Prince. 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 We feeling the urge, feeling the purge. Buzzers electric, we feeling the surge. Feeling This is the age of the Ultron. This is same stage as the Pope on. This is the stage you can smoke on. Copper pound, came on the scene, I was copper down. All I was missing was copper crown. Summer 16, I turned copper brown. Look for revenge in the copper town. Kaepernick jersey and copper crown. 21 guns, salute chopper sound. My power pieces, the crystals be talking, the cloth that be talking. King County clothing, yeah, king of New York, and I'm Christopher Walken, the missiles and Vulcan. This is me killing all her children. Pop the cantaloupe. Far from giving, we'll spill the beans. Guinness, I won't let that gold.